I want to thank you, Seymour, for taking the time to be with here today. You know, most people don't really know the challenges that parents of disabled children have to deal with. I mean, the physical, emotional, mental challenges. And one of the things that they should have the least challenge with is providing a quality education for their kids. That just because they're disabled, that shouldn't disenfranchise them from the education process. So the project that you're involved with, the work that you're doing, is really, I believe, and many others believe, is not only essential and vital. It is very worthy and very commendable. How long, or what actually got you into this process?
Well, David, you're absolutely correct. And earlier this year, many of the special needs parents came to us, bringing to our attention that LAUSD wanted to put their children on general education campuses without the proper resources. This is not about keeping special needs children away from integrating with general needs children. This is about safety. And when an entity such as LAUSD can disregard their safety to add an extra burden on these parents that go through so much, as you explained, to have them have to worry during the day when they've dropped their child off if their child's going to come home to them safe, that is just horrendous. And when you have an organization such as ACLU that has tried to grab control of the class action, take the rights away from the parents, don't allow them to advocate on behalf of their children because they feel that inclusion at all costs, that anybody who might say, well, hold on a second, a child might get hurt is a segregationist? No, this is wrong. Our special needs children, these so special children, should not be part of a social agenda that's not benefiting them in any way or that they care about. Their needs, their rights, their education, and their safety is paramount to us.
Now, can you tell us a little bit about the federal case that it's currently going through the courts?
Yes. In the 1990s, a class action suit was filed, financed by ACLUs, called the Shonda Smith matter. Their idea was to have children without disabilities identified. They then took that case, took it on an entirely different agenda so they could close down access to that case by parents of special needs and to then try to cause inclusion at all costs. When parents have said, gee, we want to have a say in this, the ACLU is fighting not to allow them to have a say. There's not a single parent with a child at LAUSD right now that is being represented by the ACLU, but they don't care. They want control. They don't want the parents of children at LAUSD right now to have any say in their child's education by advocating in the federal courts.
Well, and it sounds to me that children with disability, especially within LAUSD, are at risk.
They are at tremendous risk. We have a group of children down in the southern part of Los Angeles that are coming home with bruises every day. We have another child that, because of the lack of resource, wandered off a general education campus and was found, thank goodness, at the corner of Imperial and Western unharmed. As his family said, only the Virgin Mary was there for him as he wandered through the streets of Los Angeles for 3 hours. And this is an autistic, mildly mentally retarded child. We have another child who ended up on a general education campus with Down syndrome that went into a boy's bathroom, was beaten up, and had feces thrown at him. This is the inclusion policy that ACLU supports.
Well, you know, and from my own personal experience, when my daughter was 22, she was diagnosed with rheumatoid arthritis. So we spent many years in wheelchairs, and so her appearance was distinctively different than the other kids her age and those around her. Isn't the type of action that the ACLU is pushing, isn't that detrimental to these kids with disabilities?
Absolutely, David. You hit on the point precisely. The issue is they are having these children placed on campuses without the proper infrastructure. They are not preparing the children, the general education children, to accept them, to not bully them. They don't care. They could care less. Therefore, our special education children are being exposed to bullying, being exposed to teasing. Not only that, there is no concern to make sure they get the same type of extracurricular activities that they had at other special education centers where it was just them. Now, I'm not saying all of them should be at the special education centers, but at the same time, I believe there should be truth in the law. And if we are going to place them on the general education campuses, then we should do what is supposed to happen. The resources to be spent equally on the general education children and the special education children. We need to care about our special education children, not be heartless like the ACLU is presently being.
Well, it seems to me that by providing the special needs children with the resources, the environment that they need for proper education, you're also benefiting the other children with non-disabilities, because there are certain behavioral traits, there are certain things that happen during the course of any classroom that if you try to integrate all the children, those with disabilities and those with not, aren't you actually creating an environment within the classroom that is disruptive to all the children?
When you do not have proper resources in the classroom, you are absolutely right, David. What we have seen happen is at times some of these special needs children, without a proper behavioral support plan or an aid there, will act out. Then a general education child who has not been prepared to understand the situation will react, and then there'll be another reaction, and the general education child will be disciplined and often suspended. This is a situation where proper resources are not being given. This can be done properly if we keep two things in mind: safety and education. What we need to do is first make sure that all of our children, children with special needs, children without special needs, are in a safe environment. Then we need to concentrate what's going to best educate both. And then we can bring them together, have inclusion, but inclusion with wisdom, not inclusion at all cost.
Well, it seems to me the work that you're doing, the end result is a win-win situation for all the students.
Absolutely. It is an absolute win-win situation. You see, over the summer, we had general education children included in our programs with the special education children, but they were properly supervised. They knew how to handle it because we made sure. See, we are an organization of wanting the children with disabilities and the children without disabilities to interact with each other. But we have the wisdom to know it's got to be done with proper preparation and supervision. And so many of these children without the disabilities came home concerned, crying, told their parents, got their parents involved. And then the children with disabilities, they now had a new friend. This is inclusion with wisdom, not inclusion without an infrastructure, without considering what's in the best interest of all.
Seymour, thank you for the work that you do. Now, those that want to support you, that want to encourage you, that want to contribute, how can they get in contact with you or the organization?
They can call us at 1-800-894-7201. That's 1-800-894-7201. And of course, they can go to our website, ptsaforbetterschools.org, ptsaforbetterschools.org, and give a donation. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you, Seymour.